Gutsche is a senior lecturer at Lancaster University in the UK. He joins us from there. Robert, always good to see you. You're a bit of an expert, certainly more than most of us, casual observers, even though we might follow the news every day. To explain the Electoral College to someone is quite a challenge. Is it a good system or not?
We've been trying to debate this for the last generation, especially when every night for an election night, they come out and say how many popular votes and how many Electoral College votes, and it never seems to get taken care of. At the end of each election, we're too exhausted, it seems, to really go and try and dismantle the system. But no, with gerrymandering and lots of racial inequalities and class inequalities, it's not a system that, if I think we had the time or took the time, we'd want to support.
How would the country go about changing the system? Would it require a complete change of constitution?
Well, first it would be bringing people on board as to what it actually is and having a public debate about what the Electoral College is and who these people actually are. It's out there in public who these people are and maybe how the process works. But the first step is really educating people and having them have a position to actually advocate for. And yes, it would be a very complicated system to process to get rid of it, costly, and one that, again, after the elections, I think people are a bit burnt out and don't want to take it on. But then every cycle, we come back and say, is this really a fair system?
We heard just now from the Secretary of State for Michigan, who said that we're looking possibly at an election week because of all the mail-in ballots that are going to take so much longer to count up. How will the work of the counting up of mail-in ballots affect the work of the Electoral College?
Everything's being pushed back and back and back. And you know, that may be a bad election cycle that we're going through. But if we can sit back and say, you know, maybe we should never have been trying to do all of this in one day in 24 hours or in a news cycle. Maybe this could create a cultural shift where we can actually sit back and say, OK, this took a few days. This is what the process is going to be. Maybe this is a better process to give people the time so they're not standing in lines at a normal election for 8, 12 hours just to vote, if they can even get to the poll in a normal cycle. But at the end of the day, this election is going to end up in the courtrooms anyway, and probably before the Supreme Court. So even if the Electoral College comes in and it's a bit of a concern, this is going to end up in the courts, and we may not know the full results, just like in 2000 for some time.
Now, what about this issue of third party? I mean, third party is not going to be having a president anytime soon, but it's gaining a little bit more in popularity as the years go by. How do you see votes for third party impacting Biden and Trump?
Well, as long as Trump continues to maintain the media cycle and the media circus that's kind of created around him, and Joe Biden is kind of just talking back and reacting, not necessarily putting forth his own identity, that's a chance for the third party to come in and say, look, this system's crazy. It's not working. Let's try and meddle in this a bit. It could take enough votes from Joe Biden to affect Donald Trump, but we're going to have to wait and see. But the third party is going to be trying to push for some more relevancy after what we're seeing as a bit of a debacle.
Robert, thank you so much. Robert Gutsche from the University of Lancaster. Of course, less than a month to go now before Election Day. And we at TRT World, we're going right across east, west, north and south, going around trying to find out what Americans really care about.